Welcome, third grade, to Science at Home. So I'm going to start with the I can statements. And it does look kind of long, but I'm really describing two activities on here. So you'll notice in a moment, it really isn't. Okay? So to begin with, I can listen to a story about life cycles. And that's been our main theme, right? Life cycles. Given 6 pictures, now this is the activity you're going to do after listening to the story. Given 6 pictures, just 6, of different plants and animals, I can identify what stage of the life cycle is shown. So in the story, it will talk about starting out is one stage, and of course there's different names for it. Growing up or being a youth, becoming an adult, which could then reproduce again. The next activity is given 8 pictures of young and adult side by side. I can state which young look similar to the adult and which do not. So I'm going to read this story to you. Life Cycles, written by Peter Riley. What is a life cycle? Every living thing has a life cycle. A life cycle is the set of changes that a plant or animal passes through from its beginning to its death. An animal, such as a human baby, is born. The baby grows, changes, continues to grow and changes, and becomes an adult. The adult can have young. The adult continues to grow old and will die someday. Plants, they're also living things, so they too have a life cycle. The life cycle of a plant begins when its seed sprouts. Tom puts some pea seeds in soil. He waters them every day. Soon seedlings grow from the seeds. The seedlings grow tall and become plants with leaves. Tom plants them in his yard. Buds grow from the plants. What do you think will grow from the buds? Flowers and seeds. A flower grows from each bud. Flowers make a sweet liquid called nectar. Like some other insects, bees visit flowers to drink the nectar. Flowers also make pollen. Bees carry pollen from flower to flower as they drink the nectar. Plants need the pollen to make their seeds. The seeds scatter and grow into new plants. Some plants can grow new flowers and make seeds year after year. Some plants die after the flowers make their seeds. A tree is a very large plant. Some trees live for hundreds of years. Insects. An insect laid these eggs on a leaf. Changes happen inside the insect eggs. Tiny caterpillars hatched from these eggs. The caterpillar grows as it eats the leaf where it hatched. This, by the way, is called the larva stage as a caterpillar. It changes into a pupa. The pupa spins a cocoon or sac around itself. What do you think will happen inside the cocoon? Sometimes these are also called a chrysalis. Inside the cocoon, the pupa slowly changes shape. The cocoon splits open and a butterfly wiggles out. Like bees and other insects, the butterfly visits many different flowers to drink the nectar. The butterfly lays some more eggs. Shortly after laying the eggs, the butterfly will die. What other animals change shape during their life cycle? Amphibians. Amphibians change shape during their life cycles. Emily has some frog spawn from a pond. Frog spawn is a mass of frog eggs in a clear jelly. You can see the black eggs in this frog spawn. Emily checks the frog spawn every day. She sees the eggs changing shape inside the clear jelly. One day she sees tadpoles hatching from the eggs. The tadpoles grow and change. They grow and change shape. They slowly grow their rear legs. Then they slowly grow to front legs. What change do you think will happen next? Yep, they become a frog. Okay, the tadpole's tail shrinks and the tadpoles change shape and turn into baby frogs. The baby frogs leave the water and live on land, which isn't always true. Some frogs stay in the water. The baby frogs grow into adult frogs. After a few years, the adult frogs can make their own frog spawn. So that means the adults can then have babies. Reptiles. The life cycle of a reptile begins with an egg. Snakes, turtles, and crocodiles are reptiles. When a reptile, such as a snake, is fully grown, it can also lay eggs, meaning when it's an adult. What other creatures begin their life cycles inside eggs? Birds. Birds begin their life inside an egg. Baby birds called chicks hatch from the eggs. An adult bird must bring food such as earthworms to the chicks in its nest. The chicks are soon ready to fly and find food on their own. When the chicks are grown, they make nests and raise chicks themselves, meaning the life cycle begins again. So, mammals. A mammal has hair and drinks milk. Harry's cat Tibby is a mammal, and she had 6 kittens. The kittens feed on Tibby's milk. The milk helps them grow. Tibby drank her mother's milk when she was a kitten. Harry weighs each kitten every week, and he records the weight of each kitten. He picks out one kitten and makes a chart of its growth. What do you think the chart will show? Well, the kitten grows and changes, and they keep growing and changing until they are about 10 months old. Then they become adult cats. Humans. Here are some stages in the human life cycle. A newborn baby sleeps most of the time. That's because so much energy is actually going into growing. Toddlers can walk, but they often fall down. They're still developing that muscle and skeletal coordination. Babies and toddlers need the care of an adult at all times. They're very dependent. Children begin to learn to take care of themselves. Some things you can do by yourself, you're independent, but some things you are still dependent upon your parents for. Adults take care of themselves and their children. So, are you a baby, a toddler, a child, or an adult? I think I already know that. But that's what leads us into the first activity. So I'm going to share this with you in a Google Doc. I'm going to share this picture with you. The butterfly is A. That matches over here, picture A. The puppy's picture B. And so what you're going to do is decide, is that a picture of something that is starting out, like a baby? It's growing up, like a youth? Or it's able to have young, meaning it's an adult. So you decide. The first one is already done for you. The first one, a butterfly, is able to have young, so it's an adult. So you're going to figure out which stage each one of these pictures represents. That's the first activity I've shared with you. The second activity, which is still part of the same Google Doc, just the second page of it, I'm going to share this picture. And one thing I found interesting, or I want you to notice, is not all babies have the same features as the adults. So I want you to sort which animals have the same features and look very much like the adults, and which look nothing like the adult when they are young. I will provide you with a word bank, and you just have to type in each column. So I mentioned that you would work on a Google Doc, and you'll see right here, I'm letting you know there are 2 pages in this worksheet. And I'm asking you to place your answers in the purple boxes. So I marked off what part of the worksheet you should be working on. Okay, so you're going to look at these pictures and then identify what stage of the life cycle that each picture shows. Is it a picture of something starting out, growing up, or an adult that's able to have young? I've already placed an X to show you how to do this, as for the first one, which was butterfly, which is an adult able to have young. I'm going to now scroll down to the second page, and that's where I shared that picture previously. Okay, and I've got a word bank, and these are actually in order from left to right with the pictures. So the first picture is a frog, or frogs. The second one is of humans, birds. Okay, so that's your word bank. And then you decide. The young do not look like their parents. You're going to type in the answers in the purple space. The young have similar features as their parents. So again, these are the words you're choosing from because they represent these pictures up here. And that is what you're going to type in these purple boxes.